Steve. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. It's like sort of having a bank of second voices, isn't it? You know, people who understand the operation and are climbing on board. That bloke, John, forgive me, I didn't know what to say to him. So I just asked him a few questions, but I can't deal with compliments. Can you, Matt, deal with compliments?
No, not really.
Can you, Joe?
Not brilliantly.
No, isn't that awful?
Depends on the situation, I think. When I do music and stuff, after a gig, I expect that I will be selling CDs, hopefully, anyway, otherwise I'll be taking the bus home. And people are nice to you then, they want to talk to you about music, and I can deal with it then, but, you know, in a shop or in a pub, I find it more difficult then, yeah.
I know, it's... we're going to have to come back to how to construct a mechanism to deal with people who are nice to us. Isn't that an indication of how short our journey as humanity has been so far? Let's go to the phones. Who's this?
I don't want to jump on the being nice to you bus, right?
There's plenty of room.
But there's... Alright, yeah, I'm going to say it. That thing you said about opinions, right?
Yeah.
Your little opinion quote.
Yeah.
I have been using that for years, and people look at me with an open mouth. Their jaw hits the floor when I come out with that, because I've got it right down to a T with the same inflection and everything.
Go on, then do it for me again. Is this my opinion back at me?
Yes, this is your opinion. The thing about opinion...
Go on, yeah.
Before you endure your opinion on somebody else, it is firstly critical, that you have researched the subject fully, and secondly, make sure that your opinion does more good than harm.
That's almost exactly it.
I've got a bit of stage fright, you see, at the moment.
Stage fright? I know what you mean.
It's like hitting a 5-iron in front of Sevi. So you have to, but I deliver it a lot smoother, you know, in the real world.
In the real world? Where is that? Wouldn't you take a holiday there if you could?
I've said it on Leytonstone High Road.
Is that where the real world is, Leytonstone High Road?
Pretty much, dodging the bullets and wearing the flap jacket.
I've got an email from Peter in Birmingham, which you might like to react to. He says, Matt, would you like to read it in a fake Brummie accent, just in order to undermine whatever minimal credibility this email has?
Brummie accent?
Yeah.
God, I'm sick of black guys like John always moaning and belly aching about what happened 400 years ago. And he turns around to Matt and tells him to get over splitting up with his girlfriend. Well, John, you get over slavery... That was more Liverpool, wasn't it?
It's great. It's great. Just stay with it.
You get over slavery because, as the whitey living in Birmingham, I get fed up with all this slave talk. The past is in the past. Look forward to the future, mate, you old moaning granny. Peter from Birmingham. Sorry about the accent there.
You see...
That was a flawless move from Birmingham to Liverpool.
He would do well to listen to the opinion advice, because that email was of no worth to humanity on any level.
Zero merit.
Other than to expose his own stupidity.
Ignorance. And yet it's not the worst email we've had this evening by a long way.
Now, enlightenment, I'm glad. I want to move on now. We've done the back rub for you, yeah? Right, I want to move on to enlightenment.
You can't, because it's gone 23:40, and according to Matt's running order, it's time for an ad break. So can you hold and bridge us through the commercial messages?
But do you think it's wise we do that, because the impact of the call may have been lost over the break?
I know that, but as far as Matt is concerned, that's not important. The
Fair
content
enough,
of the show isn't important, it's the running order.
I'll hold.
In a world obsessed with celebrities, one woman wanted only one thing: to wake up in the morning to a genuine poster of David Hasselhoff on her wall. To have that poster contain a personal message to her in his very own handwriting. She was faced with fake after fake. Where could she turn for help? The answer was simple: Universal Posters. They have a range of approved celebrity pictures, which even come complete with a personalized message in the celebrity's very own handwriting. This could all be yours for just £7.99. So go to playradiouk.com and click on the Universal Poster banner. Play Radio UK and Universal Posters. Now showing on a PC near you.
It's back. It's back. The 6th of October 2008. Here at Play Radio UK, we're dedicated to providing you with a fully interactive website and music service. Choose from 11 stations playing all kinds of music 24 hours a day. While away the hours with loads of games in the playground. Interact with other users and find answers to all your technical problems in the forums. Find out who's on when, what we're up to and what we look like. Although some of us are more photogenic than others. PlayRadioUK.com. Internet radio. Your way. Play 2 UK. The Tommy Boyd Show.
We're discussing to what extent I am a genius.
Oh, God.
Oh, were we?
Seems to be.
Really?
And we're...
Sycophants calling.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm a genius.
No, moved on from there.
Okay.
I wasn't as fawning as the last two. I just... One quote out of 35 years broadcasting, you know, if you put it like that, it doesn't sound that impressive, does it?
No, but even the greatest of men are only remembered in one small quotation, you know. It's one
yes, I'm
small
sure
contribution to...
But do you want to be remembered, though?
Do you know that they dug Abraham Lincoln up in 1901 and in 1907 to see if he was still there?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's the thing I learned today. I learned a number of small facts today, and that's one of them, which I found quite interesting.
If you're remembered, you can be blamed for things posthumously without having any course of redress.
Yes, agreed.
So I don't know whether it's right to be remembered. Just have a good 80 or 90 years and have a laugh and don't upset anybody unnecessarily, and then just shuffle off. I mean, I don't know the people before my grandparents.
No, and in 100 years' time, nobody will have heard of you.
Exactly. And,
so why don't we just do what we want to do, get drunk an awful lot, lie around in bed, have as many shags as possible, be rude to people who deserve it. Why don't we do all those things? Why instead...
Well, no, because you can't do that.
We're all
Because
such wankers, aren't we?
it's morally incorrect.
No, it's not.
According to society.
It's
Well,
not.
no,
We should be doing a lot more of it. We should be doing a lot more of thumping people we don't like and shagging people we do. But we won't. Because
Well,
we
no,
think
you
we're
can't.
huge and our lives are enormous and important.
So you're being anarchic now?
Anarchic?
Yes, anarchic.
Oh, anarchic.
Yes.
Well, anarchy is much misunderstood. It is not...
No, because your version of anarchy could not happen. Because ultimately, and I've heard this argument before, you have to be... The only person that can be truly anarchic is the person that's in charge.
There's nobody in charge if we're an anarchic society.
No, but if you are being truly... If you want society to be truly a good anarchically, yes?
Yes,
I know,
yes.
if you follow, right?
Yes.
You have to be in charge.
No,
Not
nobody's,
you.
no, nobody's in charge.
No, but it's an impossibility.
No, it isn't. No, anarchy will come, and anarchy is not people chucking bricks through windows.
No.
I don't know how this wonderful political philosophy, which was probably best written about by, now what's her name? She's an Israeli Jewish philosopher who wrote about it, Greenberg, or Greenbaum. Anyway, she explained, it's not about chucking bricks or knocking policemen's helmets off. It's just about creating a world where there's no need for laws because nobody wants to do anything horrible.
All right, then what happens
Ergo. What do you mean, what happened?
What happens if all right, 99.9% of the people of this world are good people.
Yes,
Agree?
yes.
All right. What
Well,
about the 0.1% that drive down the other side of the road at 40 miles an hour? What are you going to do?
That statistical situation is the one that will exist several months before total anarchy is secured. We'll shun them. We'll turn our back. We'll ignore them when they come in the room.
Well, you can't. How can you do that?
We'll make them feel as though they're not part of what we're all enjoying. Social pressure. It's like when you have children. You're not old enough to have children, but when you do, you know...
Well, I've got an 11-year-old.
You started young.
At 26.
I do enjoy talking to you, whoever you are. Bugger off.
Well, slow down.
Oh, jeez.
I haven't finished. I haven't got to my main point. Well, my third point,
Yeah, go on.
which is enlightenment.
Yes, carry on.
Right? And I'm feeling that you had a moment of enlightenment.
Yes.
And it's fleeting, and it comes back. And I can only describe enlightenment as those moments, and I'm going to do it, I'm going to bring the conversation back to the golf course,
Okay.
of those perfect shots that start low, rise high,
Yes.
at the end, and drop softly to the left, 6 foot from the flag. And at that moment, when the ball has left the club face, are you truly enlightened?
That is very, very beautiful, and I refer you to... Fiona, how good are you at finding something on the internet?
What do you want me to find?
Seaside Golf by John Betjeman. Are you aware of it, caller?
Not at all.
Are you not aware of Seaside Golf by John Betjeman?
Does it respect the traditions of the game?
You've just virtually... Do you know it's Joe?
Yes.
You do?
Well, I know of John
Is it a
Betjeman,
book?
and I know of the...
No, it's a poem, but it's just...
Oh, please.
What?
A poem?
A poem, but hold on, wait, you have just been quite poetic.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have, because you have transposed a sense of godliness.
I haven't read a poem or written a poem since I was getting someone's pants.
Did you get into their pants through poetry?
I'm sure I did. I can't remember it so long.
Which poem did you read in order to
She
get
was
somebody's...
Egyptian, or she thought she was Egyptian, but she was from Scotland and used to wear a lot of makeup and gave herself an Egyptian name.
There's a lot of Scottish girls wear too much makeup, don't they?
It's a very strong girl.
Especially in Dunoon.
Powerful.
I've never been there.
No, don't.
Have you been to Maybole?
No, I haven't.
don't.
No, don't.
Oh,
Seaside
the
Golf.
poetry
There it is.
Poetry is for...
That's it.
for
There it is.
girls.
Just click on that. Seaside Golf. I'll just quickly read it to you. Okay, you ready?
Men who
This
wear
is
floral shirts.
No, listen. This is exactly what you were saying. You will now go out and buy this poem.
No, I won't.
Are you ready? How
I'll
straight...
download it for free.
Don't interrupt me while I'm reading a poem. It's very quick. How straight it flew, how long it flew, it cleared the rutted track, and soaring disappeared from view beyond the bunker's back. A glorious, sailing, bounding drive that made me glad I was alive. And down the fairway far along it glowed a lonely white. I played an iron, sure and strong, and clipped it out of sight, and spite of grassy banks between, I knew I'd find it on the green, and so I did. It lay content, 2 paces from the pin. A steady putt, and in it went. The very turf rejoiced to see that quite unprecedented 3. It goes on a bit, but that's more or less what you said about 3 minutes before.
But not in such flowery language, floral shirts and espadrille language.
There were no espadrilles. This is a game of golf in Dorset.
Dorset?
Dorset!
London's burial ground, Dorset, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Now, it's tapering off now, so go away and regroup. And he has. It's exactly 11 o'clock.
Play Radio UK have teamed up with Virgin Wines to offer you a massive 20% discount off your favourite wines. Visit playradiouk.com and click on the Virgin Wines 20% discount voucher to start saving now and have your favourite wines delivered to your door. Play Radio UK and Virgin Wines for people who love their wine and a great deal. Just log on to playradiouk.com and click on the Virgin Wine 20% discount voucher and start saving today.
Ellington Lodge at the Concord Club. Take advantage of our excellent jazz dinner, bed and breakfast rates. Enjoy live traditional jazz on a Sunday evening whilst dining in our superb restaurant. Stay the night at Ellington Lodge and enjoy a full English breakfast, all for just £52.50 per person. Look out for forthcoming events on Play Jazz UK or visit our website, theconcordclub.com.
It's back. It's back. The 6th of October, 2008. Broadcasting live to the UK. News, information, entertainment, and the best music from the past 40 years. This is Play 2 UK. Tommy Boyd. Call 01243 55 60 60. Email studio@playradiouk.com. Skype play.radio.uk. Now, live from the south coast of England, The Tommy Boyd Show, only on Play 2 UK.
Now, I promised that we'd have a listen to an argument quick email from Peter Collins. Shall I read it? Sorry to upset the lefty liberals living there in their cosy bubble of white self-guilt over slavery. Well, I have no guilt at all. To hell with liberals like you, Tommy, and that other middle-class dickhead liberal from Georgia, Steve. You should try living as a white person in cities like Birmingham. As the minority in black or Asian areas, you think we don't face racism or racist attacks. Get out of your leafy suburbs and live in the real world, you middle-class liberal tossers. And Eduardo, you're as boring as Les Ross. That's Peter from Birmingham. It's fantastic. You know, you get emails like that at every radio station you work. It's just that you can't read them out.
No,
Whereas...
he seems a bit upset tonight, doesn't he?
Who?
Peter.
Well, he's probably got a lot to be upset about. Obviously, he lives in a slum.
You know, you said that Les Ross, or as you say, Les Ross, ought to, you know, it's not a very sort of cool name.
No.
That was quite an interesting name, because, of course, Ross is a name that's known within broadcasting. And he is Les Ross, isn't he?
Yes. And that little piece of work is very Les Ross, isn't it? Really. Can we just type in here, I want, could you type in, Richard Evans, and we're on Google at the moment. We're just going to take a little listen again to something that was flagged up last night by a good listener. This worked really well last night. From around about 11 o'clock, people started chipping in bits of audio that were worth us listening to. They can have pictures as well, so they could be YouTube things, but if they're predominantly audio, then it gets a bit like a sort of a radio request show where they used to read out requests and then play a record. So you get, you know, a disc jockey sort of going, could you please play anything by Frank Sinatra for my dear wife. We will have been married 38 years on the 22nd of October next. And then they play something by Frank Sinatra. And that was one thing. But I like the idea of playing, you know, off-the-wall bits of audio. And we want Richard Evans, into Google, please, Fiona, and Nicholas Witchell, Witchell. Okay? Now, if you just Google search that, now we need to find somewhere where that's got the audio. You haven't heard this, have you, Jo?
I don't think so, no.
Or have you got the audio somewhere?
I think we might still have it. If you
Could I just leave you with that? Because what this is, do you know Nicholas Witchell, Jo? He's the BBC's royal correspondent.
Oh,
little red-headed guy. Used to be huge, used to read the 6 o'clock news all by himself. And he was famous for coming to the rescue of Sue Lawley when a group of lesbians attacked her live during the 6 o'clock news.
Really?
You've not heard of that?
No.
Oh, some interesting things used to happen back then. Yeah, Sue Lawley was reading the news with Nicholas Witchell, and 4 militant lesbians broke into the studio and handcuffed themselves to the news desk. And Nicholas Witchell sat on them in order to enable Sue Lawley to continue with the bulletin.
Wow.
And the cameras managed to film just her and to avoid Nicholas Witchell sitting on 4 lesbians in chains.
God.
Now, I'm not a rich man, but I would pay £35 to watch people sitting on lesbians in chains.
Yes.
Not a thing of mine, but I want to see how it's done, what kind of squeals, you know, it generates, what the expressions are on their face, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Nicholas Witchell is a man of some integrity and resource. I don't think we've got a piece of audio on that particular website there. No, you need to...
Where's Matt when you need him? I'm sure I saw it up here earlier.
He's having a fag. He just come back. Matt, we're just trying to locate, for Joe's benefit, and also I promised a few people that we would listen to Nicholas Witchell. And what it is, Joe, is sometimes broadcasters interview journalists about something that journalists know, and it's called a two-way. So the journalist says, what happened, or whatever, and then the journalist says, and then he says, and what will be the ramifications of this, you know?
Yeah.
Or what are we expecting to happen tomorrow? There's another one, you know?
Sure.
Or they usually start by saying, what's the very latest? You know, that one.
Yes, I know
it's
that
called a two-way. But this guy, called Richard Evans from Radio 5, he's asked to do a two-way with Nicholas Witchell about the royal family, or Prince Charles, attending a cenotaph remembrance.
Can you just
go back to the start? Is that possible? The reason that Nicholas Witchell gets really arsey with Richard Evans is because Richard Evans, instead of giving him some kind of a decent introduction, even though it's pre-recorded, he does this kind of really dismissive thing which sounds as though he's saying that Nicholas Witchell and his story doesn't matter. But then what you get is quite... because you get two men bitching. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. Here's our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell was there. So just tell us what happened today.
Sorry, I mean, it's just such a... You know, there has been a remembrance service. You can't ask... I don't mean, you know... your intro will say the Prince of Wales has led a commemoration at the Cenotaph. What has happened at the Cenotaph? They sounded the last post. They had a 2-minute silence.
Just tell us all that then, you know.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to. Because,
what do you want me to do then? What do you want me to do?
I don't know, honestly, I don't.
What do you want me to do?
But, what happened...
well, you tell me, Nicholas, what questions you want me to ask.
I don't want to ask any.
Well, I know you don't. I know you don't.
Start with, because that is in your queue, what happened. Start with, you know, it's going to be one of the last occasions.
You tell me
what
to ask you.
I just have.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm going.
What's question one? Don't take it out on me. Look, I'm just trying to do my bloody job as well.
And likewise. You know, it's just a pointless two-way. But it'll be one of the last occasions.
I'm the monkey, not the organ grinder. All right? What do you want me to ask you?
I've told you 4 times now. This will presumably be one of the last occasions.
I've told you 4 times.
Ceremony such as this happens.
Then what shall I ask you after that?
Oh, I'm sure you'll think of something.
Well, if I'm going to ask you questions and you're just going to say to me, I'm not prepared to answer that question, we're not going to get very far, are we?
There's no point asking questions which cannot be answered. What happened? There was a ceremony of remembrance. You know, they sang a hymn, said some prayers.
Well, you just answered it.
Oh, all right. Well, if you want me to.
Do you want to persevere with this, Daniel, or not? No, you know, I don't understand what's going on here, quite frankly. I'd rather be watching the television.
Okay, well, let's leave it. That's fine. You know, I've hung around for you. But it's just, no, I was going to say it's pointless. Well, this is basically people that obviously don't know what happened today. I mean, obviously we're going to say in the queue there was more today. Today's VJ 60th anniversary. Yeah. Well, it's not today. It's VJ, but it's the anniversary. So basically, who was there? So in other words, the Prince of Wales. Right. So you can say the Prince of Wales was there. What I remember was royalty was there. None of this is going to be the last chance to see the veterans. It's kind of the last. Yeah, that is the only in point to this. This is going to be the last big memorial service because aren't they? The next big anniversary, they're not going to be. Well, that is what I've been trying to say. Yeah. That is an in point to it. Now.
I'm fine, yeah, absolutely. I'll ask any question you want me to.
Well, you also presumably can think up some yourself. God, blimey. Right, let's have a go.
Are we recording all this, Nick? I hope we are. Right, here we go then. The queue will say whatever the producers wanted to say, and I will say, presumably, Nicholas, this is the last time that all these veterans will get together like this.
They're all in their 80s or their 90s. It is likely to be one of the last occasions when the country marks the contribution made by the veterans who fought in the Far East and in Burma. They're members of the Burma Star Association. They, of course, have felt over the past 6 years...
Right, so he's doing his proper interview now.
Of a forgotten army.
Right, and he goes going on. And we hear interviews like this all the time, don't we? But isn't this behind-the-scenes stuff much better shit?
Yeah. They received the greatest number of battles.
And so he's going on for about 40 seconds, and then is the bloke going to ask him a question?
So many years, but now receiving their due, and respect was paid to them at the Cenotaph today.
Tell us about the ceremony and what happened.
It was a ceremony of remembrance.
So he's got that in. He wants to get in the what happened thing, because that was what it was all about, really. What happened isn't a proper question.
Being laid by the Prince of Wales, the Deputy Prime Minister, and leaders of the Burma Star Association.
Is that it? What was the other question you wanted me to ask?
He's not giving in, is he? Tracy.
I mean, that's the trouble with something like this. It's
well, tell me about it, you know.
What's the matter?
Tracy comes in.
This doesn't really suit kind of two-way treatment. It's either actuality or, a veteran?
Right, we've got a veteran.
Okay.
Just a quick summary of the kind of things that will be going on today. We'll run that and then we'll have the veteran.
I think misapprehension here. There haven't been things going on today. There's been one ceremony of remembrance at the cenotaph. This isn't like Remembrance Day when you've got ceremonies all over the country.
I thought there was one in Scotland as well.
Well, if there is, I'm not aware of it.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, I think it'll still be nice. What's happened at the cenotaph today. A couple of minutes with that before we speak to our vet. I think it'll be nice.
Yeah, there's loads of actuality, which is clearly much more poignant than me sitting here talking about it.
We can use the actuality ahead of you. A couple of minutes of you.
Well, I would have thought, the intelligent way of doing this, surely, is actuality and a veteran. I have no significance in this at all. Prince Charles laid a wreath. Do you see what I mean? I'm you're looking...
I'm not saying anything. I'm just here to ask the questions, So you tell me what questions you want me to ask, and I'll ask them.
Fine. Well, I think, we're doing 2 slots on it. One will have some audio with yourself, and then we'll have the vet.
Well, just ask... if you decide what questions between you want me to ask, I will ask them. All right? That's all I want to do.
You've not been given a cue for it?
Well, I've asked... you've come in halfway through this. I basically asked what happened. Nicholas said that's a daft question. He wouldn't answer it. So then he said, well, ask me. It's the last time I've asked that question. He's talked about the veterans. Then he said, talk about the ceremony. I've done that. And now we can't think of another question between
Well,
us.
you've got now what?
You think up some questions, and I'll...
You've got about a minute and a half.
Yeah,
there.
that's about a minute
surely
and a half.
Isn't that is frankly all there is to say about it.
Right, well, that's all we'll say about it. If we've got that, then I didn't hear it, so it's hard to say.
I was just going to say, so we covered who was there, we covered what happened, and I suppose the question now is the forgotten army now, are they now going to be forgotten or something like that? Because this is the last big ceremony. I just wonder if you could touch on that, perhaps, just to sort of think a bit more laterally on it. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think I've already answered that, but I'll have another go. Okay, certainly. Thank you. You're just presumably starting your shift. I've been...
I totally appreciate that, absolutely.
Oh, they're making up.
Okay, we're recording. Many of the veterans obviously feel it's important that the war is remembered like this, and it'll be interesting to see now what happens. As you say, this will be the last commemoration of its kind.
It's, I think, one of the curious things that there seems to be more interest now in the Second World War, in conflicts such as the one in the Far East and in Burma, than perhaps there was years ago when these men felt that they were forgotten. Perhaps as they enter their 80s and 90s, their children, their grandchildren are taking an interest in it. And certainly, I think the impression is that we are more interested in history, more interested in the concept of remembrance perhaps now, as these people approach the ends of their lives, than we were a number of years ago. So certainly the veterans themselves are keen that what they went through, that memory endures and continues through future generations.
Nicholas Witchell, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's great, and it's mustard to listen to, isn't it?
It is. Why do you think they left that recording? Do you think...
Well, they started out recording. That was the whole point. They started recording, and then he said that, so blah-de-blah-de-blah at the beginning. So, blah, 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 Nicholas Witchell, what happened?
But they've just left it on the
whole
time.
They left it recording, yeah, because nobody said stop recording. There was no malice or mischief, I don't think, about that.
But it's just interesting that this has leaked out. So you think it's been put on a system somewhere for somebody to edit it down?
Yeah, I would, wouldn't you?
And then the original was just...
Yeah. Just a bit of mischief.
Funny.
Because you got these two girls wittering and bitching and going at each other, and then a producer comes in, and she's about 12, isn't she? But because she's a producer, they both go, oh, shit. And you can hear them go, we better make up. Because we don't want it, we don't want anybody, disciplinary. So they both go, oh, yes, well, it has been going on a bit. I think we covered that, miss.
Excellent.
But I still think that the bloke Richard Evans was the one to blame. Who do you think, Matt, was out of order there?
Primarily Richard Evans for not taking the whole routine seriously.
When he started, he just could have been a bit more respectful, couldn't he?
Well, yeah.
We've all done it. We've all recorded interviews like that, and we've all had to go. So anyway, we'll put in the introduction, we'll explain what this is all about. So my first question to you, if you don't mind, is something along the lines of, what's happening today? How's that? And they go, yeah, okay, fine. So you go, okay, so, blah, 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 and you do it. You go, oh, blah, 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 and so, Peter, what's happening today? Because it is easy to give a shape to it. You go, what's happening today? Was this long in the planning? And what are the plans for the future? Thank you very much indeed. Yeah. You know, the chronological interview, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the obvious way of doing something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course it is.
So what happened today? Was this long in the planning? And what will happen in the future as a result of this? That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all he needs to do.
It's kind of like if you were starring in a panto, you wouldn't turn up to rehearsals and go, blah, 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 I stand here, blah, 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 blah,
exactly. Exactly.
But he then said, didn't he, at the end, that he thought, it's been a long day.
I can well appreciate that.
They were starting to kiss and make up, weren't they? Okay.
Probably because they knew they had to work with each other again.
Now, I've been sent a link, which is to, I believe... Did anybody see that come through?
I believe it was in an email, was it?
Damn! Somebody sent a link with Nicholas Witchell sitting on lesbians.
What?
Yeah.
Chained ones as well.
Chained
why
lesbians.
didn't they chain
Do you want me to have a
themselves
look?
to Sue
Lesbians.
Lawler, though?
Sorry?
Why didn't they chain themselves to Sue Lawley? That would have been much better.
Was that what you'd have done?
Yeah, if I was a militant lesbian.
I think, yeah. Are you lesbian?
No.
No, I'm
But if
not.
I was, or
No.
were, if I were.
No, men find lesbianism fascinating.
I know, it's bizarre.
Well, it's not in a sense, is it? I think it shows understanding that nobody could understand why anybody would love us.
6 o'clock lesbian nutters.
That could be the one.
Let's give it a try.
And
anyway.
may I say, fine librarianisation there. Is that a word?
Run title. 5, 4, 3.
We'll see what this sounds like.
1, 0. On the air.
BBC News.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell, yes.
News from the BBC with Sue Lawley and Nicholas Witchell.
Good evening, the headlines at 6 o'clock. Run out. House of Lords, a vote is taking place now on a challenge to the poll tax. Tory Debbie has said unfair and unpopular. Lord Whitehall... Run, Blade! Now! 2, 1, 0. Animate charisma. Changes in the way nurses work and are trained. Changes to stop them leaving the profession. Animate charisma. Run C. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Animate charisma. Kenneth Freon next door, it's Reagan. And with 1 week to go, between the fourth summit, we have... Animate charisma. Run D. 5, 4, 3, coming up, Sue. 1. Animate charisma. And repairing the road. Coming to invasion, camera 2 with insect.
Okay, we've just had another Skype from somebody calling themselves Bingo Radio, who's subscribed this. Thank you. This is turning into a nice little end-of-evening feature, I think, where people subscribe links to interesting bits of audio. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, we've received another one. Would you like me to...
Just to explain what we heard there, because there were pictures involved, that is a YouTube clip. But what you were hearing was the sound of the gallery, as they call it. And when he says animate charisma, I don't know why they pay television directors so much. They don't actually do anything.
No.
Everybody else is pressing buttons like Billy-O and monitoring stopwatches, but the director has to say things like take 2 and 4 and coming to the wide and take the wide. But during the opening sequence of the news, they're showing lots of clips with voiceover of the stories that they're going to be covering in the news. We're familiar with that. But it turns out that they've got a right-to-left wipe called charisma. Cool. And so every time he says animate charisma, you knew that's what was going on. Somebody with a vision mixing desk would have to go using 2 sort of levers at the same time. Animate charisma. But we didn't hear much of the lesbians, did we? Or see them?
No.
We didn't see them at all. But we heard them whooping a bit. I don't think that they were the kind of lesbians that Howard Stern has in the studio.
No.
Are you with me?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
The ones he paints green on St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
That sort of thing. What else have we got?
We have a clip here which is being sent via the email from Darcy. It's George Carlin.
George Carlin's capable of being very funny. I don't know to what extent this is dependent on pictures. It's a YouTube clip. We'll play it and we'll see. Maybe it works just as sound.
Cancer, so they eat each other up instead of you. In fact, the way I look at it, the more cancer you got, the healthier you are. Well, I know some people don't like you to talk about those things. I know that. Some people don't like you to mention certain things. Some people don't want you to say this. Some people don't want you to say that. Some people think if you mention some things, they might happen. Some people are really fucking stupid.
No, I'll go along with that.
Did you ever notice that? How many really stupid people you run into during the day? God damn, there's a lot of stupid bastards walking around. Carry a little pad and pencil with you. You wind up with 30 or 40 names by the end of the day.
At least.
Look at it this way. Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that. And it doesn't take you very long to spot one of them, does it? Take you about 8 seconds. You'll be listening to some guy. You say, this guy is fucking stupid. Then there are some people, they're not stupid, they're full of shit. That doesn't take very long to spot either, does it? Take you about the same amount of time. You'll be listening to some guy and say, well, he's fairly intelligent. He's full of shit. Then there are some people, they're not stupid, they're not full of shit, they're fucking nuts. Dan Quayle is all three. All three. Stupid, full of shit, and fucking nuts. And where did he get that wife of his? Have you taken a good look at that Marilyn Quayle? Where did he get her? At a Halloween party or something? She looks like Prince Charles, for Christ's sake. Let me ask you something. Does he actually have to fuck that woman? Huh? God help him, I wouldn't fuck her with a stolen dick. That's my political humor. People like it when you're topical.
Yeah. Very good. He touched on something there that I had a cathartic moment. That's the second time we've used that word on today's broadcast. When I was about 19, 20, I realised that occasionally it was a good idea to stop listening to people and think about what they're saying. And then I found this voice coming in doing exactly what happened to George Carlin. Because up until then I'd listened religiously to every word that everybody said. And then I found that I didn't have to. Because I could make up my mind about them quite quickly. Okay. And so I knew what the rest of the story or whatever it was they were saying was going to be. So I didn't need to listen to it. So then the voice would kick in and I would go, you're an idiot. And I found it very liberating. But with the time at just gone 25 past 11...
Clayton UK weather.
OK, this evening, outbreaks of rain across England, Wales and Northern Ireland will gradually clear overnight, but showers will spread into western parts later. Scotland will have showers throughout the evening and the night, which may merge into some longer spells of rain. Wednesday will be a breezy day with sunny spells, but also occasional showers. These will be heaviest and most frequent in the north and west, with a risk of thunder.
You're up to date on Play 2 UK.
In a world obsessed with celebrities, one woman wanted only one thing: to wake up in the morning to a genuine poster of David Hasselhoff on her wall. To have that poster contain a personal message to her in his very own handwriting. She was faced with fake after fake. Where could she turn for help? The answer was simple. Universal Posters. They have a range of approved celebrity pictures, which even come complete with a personalized message in the celebrity's very own handwriting. This could all be yours for just £7.99. So go to playradiouk.com and click on the Universal Poster banner. Play Radio UK and Universal Posters. Now showing on a PC near you.
Ellington Lodge at the Concord Club. Take advantage of our excellent jazz dinner, bed and breakfast rates. Enjoy live traditional jazz on a Sunday evening whilst dining in our superb restaurant. Stay the night at Ellington Lodge and enjoy a full English breakfast, all for just £52.50 per person. Look out for forthcoming events on Play Jazz UK or visit our website, theconcordclub.com.
Enjoy yourselves this bonfire night. But remember, even a little sparkler burns at around 2,000 degrees centigrade. Don't mess with fireworks.
Tommy Boyd on Play 2 UK, the original cunning linguist.
Well, we're moving now towards very much the fag end of emails, but it's very nice to receive occasional Phillips of... Phillips? Yes. Phillips is a funny word, isn't it? I think spelt with an F, it means a sort of something that's a little bit sort of salsified, you know, a little bit sort of peppery. Philip.
Right, okay.
You heard the word Philip before?
No, I haven't.
Have
Well,
you never
this
been...
is a name, but...
As a name, yes, but you've never heard of anybody giving you a Philip?
No.
Have you never been given a
If somebody
Philip?
said to me, do you want me to give you a Philip, I'd worry that there's something sexual
I
involved.
can see that. I can see that. And would you want to know more, or would you just reject it out of hand if somebody said to you, would you like a Philip, and you thought it was sexual?
I wouldn't know what to think.
Would you want to see a photograph?
No, the first thing I go is, a Philip? And then they'd probably
Yes.
go, yes, it means this.
Yes.
Bearing in mind I'm married to one.
Are you?
Yes, so I've
So
had a
you've
few
already been
Phillips.
given a Philip? At least 3 that we know of. Okay.
Only 3, of course.
Yes. So, however, there is a bit of a Philip in some of these emails. So, Tamsin says, goodness me, I haven't even taken the wheelie bin down yet. It's Tuesday. That must mean it's been a good programme. Can you tell my 13-year-old to go to bed? We could lie and say that he has GCSE science tomorrow. I'm blaming you for forgetting the wash swim kit. I hope Jo is okay. I'll be thinking of her for the next few days.
Oh, thank you.
What happened earlier was that we've been chairing a debate about pro-life, alive and kicking, and the A word. We're not saying it anymore at the moment because we've agreed with Jo that it's an ugly word. And Jo sort of stuck through it, but then in the end found it just a bit thought-provoking, as all of us with hearts and minds sometimes do from time to time. And then was kind enough to explain there was a reason why you were moved by it, was it because you had an unforgettable...
Yes, I've had the experience of it.
Yeah.
So.
It does get better with time, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Just overly sensitive this evening.
Why is that?
Well, right. I suffer from depression from time to time, but not anything to do with that. I had it before, and from time to time I get low points, and I deal with it through diet and exercise and things like that. But sometimes things just get on top, so for now and again I'll be more emotional over things that normally you might brush aside or be able to deal with. Sometimes I find it harder to do that, so when a emotive subject comes up I will be more tearful about it anyway, but unfortunately this evening's one I was even more tearful about than I might be normally, but it gets better and goes away and depends.
It's strange being a human.
It's really weird.
It's strange being a human being, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't decide whether it's great or horrible.
What, being a human being?
Yeah.
I still think
it's
it's want to be
great.
anything else. I love being a human being, but I just
Are
want
we
to...
getting to the Sound of Music here?
Are we?
Sounds like it. Come on then. You tell us children why we should be happy to be, in this impending wartime situation and fathered by...
Life's what you make of it. As you said yourself, you should just live every day. No, I don't want to sound
you can
philosophical.
try and live every minute of every day and make life what you want, but there are people out there at every point trying to bring you down.
But doesn't that just make you a better, bigger person?
Sure, but is being a better, bigger person a great thing, or is it a horrible thing? Would it be better sometimes to be more naive?
I think life, for good or bad, just shapes who you are.
It is weird, though, isn't it?
What, being human?
God, isn't it weird? One of the best sketches I ever saw on television was, I don't remember which show it was. It was a bit like The Fast Show, but it was a precursor of it. And this bloke and a young lady actor played a slightly sort of slow on the uptake couple. And he's sitting on a park bench, and she's sitting on a park bench next to him. And he goes, he looks at the camera and he goes, Laura, right, had a tummy ache. She went to hospital, and a person came out of her. And we've got to keep it.
Wasn't that Wayne and Waynetta Slob from Harry Enfield?
It might have been. I don't think it was, because it's a bit too surreal and thing for Wayne and Waynetta. But
it was definitely a Harry Enfield thing.
Because that's what happens. I mean, you think about it. I mean, a philosopher wrote, you know, that although he wished to explore some of the higher matters that the human mind can embrace, he couldn't get away from the fact that every day he pushed dead animals into a hole in his face. And he didn't even start to tell us about what happened 24 hours later. Isn't that weird?
Pushed them back out.
How weird is that? We push dead animals into a hole in our face every 24 hours. And for women, every so often, a person comes out of you. How can we not be mad?
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
How can we not be mad? And we know that we're going to die. And we'll either die quickly, in which case we won't get a chance to say goodbye and our affairs won't be in order, or we'll die a lengthy death, and at least we'll have a chance to say goodbye, but it will be very, very unpleasant. How can we not be mad? How can we not be mad? My boys saw me once pottering naked across the landing, and one of them made some remark about not wanting to see my John Thomas. So I said to them, never forget, boys, you started up there. How can we not be mad? How can we not be mad? You know, we live this life looking out of these two little almond-shaped apertures in the top of our head. That's the only place we ever look out of. You can all go cross-eyed now and look at your own nose. And that just reminds you that you're in there. You're in there, Joe. You're in there and you never come out. Matt, you're in there, and that's the only place you'll ever be. Well, until you snuff it. And when you snuff it... No, you don't. And when you snuff it, you might just wake up 10 seconds later, and you'll look at it all and you'll go, for Christ's sake, what a stupid carcass I was. Flummeling around like that, worrying about all those bloody stupid things that don't matter in the slightest. Or you might snuff it, and nothing. That's the end of it. Boom, gone. But the one thing that you will know, if that's the case, is that you did waste your time flummoxing around like a carcass, doing bugger all that mattered, quite frankly, apart from lying on warm sand with a glass of cool wine and somebody tickling that bit of you that you like. And it doesn't happen.
Back of my neck.
Yeah, back of your neck. See? How can we not be mad? Who's maddest here? Me.
Probably me.
You? Matt, who's maddest here?
You.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'd say you.
Oh, but you see, that's the thing. I'm the sanest person you'll ever know. That's the stupid...
Well...
Because I'm aware of it all, you see.
I can't help but wonder if there is... where the moon is in its cycle at the moment, though. Because I've had a bit of an emotional day, too.
Well, it was last crescent the night before last, so it's not full. But go on, what happened to you?
Oh, no, it's... No, nothing important.
Yes,
but
it
I've
is.
just... No,
what
it's
happened
not.
to you?
No, nothing important in the big scheme of
But
things
where were you
at
then?
all. I've just had a few sort of weepy, silly moments today where I was... and it's just all rubbish. It's all nonsense, you know. But it just makes you wonder if there's...
Take a call.
You know,
No, sorry.
Something in the air.
Makes you wonder, yes.
Something in the Yapton water, perhaps.
Well, I mean, if periods do tend to happen around about the full moon, and they do seem to, for a lot of people, roundabout. Yeah, Fiona, I know more about it than you do, actually. You're looking at me as if...
I'm sure.
How can I be
I'm
talking about periods?
No, you can talk about periods.
I know more about periods than you do about erections, all right? So...
Oh, it's for sure.
I am totally bloody certain
I am
All right.
staying out of it.
You are so staying out of this one. But what it means is that, you know, there's a shop somewhere. I think it's in Czechoslovakia. No, Czech Republic. I think there might be one over here, but I don't know the trade name. And the staff are not allowed to go to the toilet in between breaks. Okay?
Right.
But then somebody pointed out that women have periods and have a real urgent need sometimes to nip to loo.
Right.
So, they came up with a system, which is that you're not allowed to go to a loo except during your break, unless you're a woman having a period.
Right.
So what they've done is they've...
I see where you're going with this.
No, my wife told me about this. I had to make her tell me twice. What they do is they make women who are having a period have to wear a red hat.
No.
Yes. So that the supervisors can check that the only people who are going to the toilet, except during a break, have got a red hat on, and they can spot it easily, you see. It doesn't mean they don't have to check their rotor or anything. They can just go, where's Ingrid go? She's going, she's got a red hat period. Oh, fine.
Oh, for goodness sake.
How about that?
That
You
is
see.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where's the human rights there?
Well, why shouldn't people know that you're having a period? Oh.
Well, people probably normally know when I am.
We know.
Who's heard of Edward de Bono?
Rings a bell for some reason.
Yes, he wrote a book called The Dog Walking Machine, and he's quite famous for what's called lateral thinking, approaching a problem from a different angle. You know, his thinking is that how can you solve a problem using the same kind of thinking that caused the problem in the first place? That's good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And his second book was about the fact that we all have different moods, and nobody knows what sort of a mood a person is in when they start talking to them. So, in his house, in his family, he bought 7 different coloured baseball caps for everybody in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody had to wear the baseball cap whose colour matched the mood that they thought they were in.
Right.
So if they came down for breakfast in the morning and they were feeling really happy because it was a Saturday morning and they were going to see their boyfriend or whatever, they'd wear their yellow baseball cap. But then they'd get in there and they'd see that Dad, who's got to take the car to be MOT'd, right? And he's just had a bank statement saying that they're more overdrawn than he thought. He's got his black baseball cap on, right? So daughter with a yellow baseball cap on knows to anticipate that Dad is not going to match her mood.
Mm.
So it doesn't catch her by surprise when she says, "Oh, what a beautiful morning."
I think that's a really good idea.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
It is a good idea.
And if you're angry, you put on the red one.
Yeah.
If I was really happy because it was Saturday.
Yeah.
And wearing my yellow baseball cap.
I'm sure you do all the time.
And walk downstairs to see my dad.
Yeah.
Who was wearing a black baseball cap.
Yes.
So he's got an unhappy baseball cap on and
Yes.
I've got a happy one on.
Yes.
I would then change the colour of my baseball cap to say, was happy but not anymore because Dad's not, but not completely unhappy.
I know, you'll be on and off with your hats,
You'd
won't
be
you?
changing them left, right and centre
You would.
depending on other people's moods.
You would. That's because you're somebody who likes to centre, Matt. We'll come back to this probably in a couple of years, because it's quite a lot for you to take on in one session.
Really?
Oh, yes. But you're somebody who tends to centre.
Right.
And I do as well. I hitched a lift once from Bognor all the way to London, and I was in there with our Geordie lorry driver, we are going from I said, I'm Bognor. By the time I got out, actually it was just north of Reigate, right, I went to the railway station because I could finish off my journey by British Rail, and I was thinking, Hofner, Ashford, please, in Middlesex, Lakeman. That's me centring. And you're a centrist as well, aren't you?
It's very true, because when my family lived in Yorkshire, we used to go and stay with them for a week, and I'd come back with a Yorkshire accent.
Of course you did.
But I think if I came downstairs with happy hat on,
yes,
and saw a husband sat there with unhappy hat on,
yes,
I would just think, well, I'm walking out the room again, I don't want to. But alternatively, if I came down with an unhappy hat on, and I saw that he had unhappy hat on, I would then probably want to, you know. So what's the matter with you then? Why are you in a bad mood?
Yeah, but at least you...
Nothing wrong with me.
What colour hat are you wearing at the moment, Chris?
Well, that's what I was thinking about. There's flaws in this. Now, I'm not one for debating and arguing. I haven't got a keen, incisive mind like you and Matt. But what would go on if you wanted to... bullshit, for instance.
Brown.
You what? You wear brown, would you?
Yeah, you wear your brown baseball cap.
Come on, Dad, what's the matter with you? You go, I'm happy as there's a lot of... It could be open to abuse. Anyway, I think you'll enjoy my contribution tonight, Tom.
I'll be the judge of that.
Right then, there's great stories, there's great songs, juggling, gardening tips, silence in the pig market, let the old sow have a grunt. Are you there? Or have you hung up again?
No, we're here. I've just...
All right, then. You must forgive me.
Yeah, I've stepped to one side to leave you in centre stage.
Oh, no, I've just rung up to say that I found myself living in a moral negative universe, emotional universe, you know that. But just cheer up a bit, you should, Joe. You got your music.
Yeah, pull yourself together.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's it.
you
Get
should
over
do.
it.
You're going to be on set Sunday, will you?
Oh, I don't know now.
Bring your guitar in Sunday. Should let him wind you up. He's a bit of a...
I've got a special lined up for you lot on Sunday.
Well, there you are then,
yes.
see? That's it. Well, I can't wait. And, I'm always happy to do my share. Swelp me, bub.
Excellent.
Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Very nice man. But the thing about the hat thing is it makes you think about what mood you're in.
Yeah.
And that's important, that self-awareness thing, isn't it? Do you ever have you find yourself having a thought sometimes and you go, no, I don't want to think that?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you just let it happen?
No, sometimes... I don't know, it depends.
Yeah.
If it's a bad thought...
Have you ever meditated, Matt?
No.
Would you like to?
I'm such a fidget, so it's like nervous energy, so to speak. I don't think I could actually commit myself to it.
Have you ever been hypnotised?
Never, and I wouldn't be.
Why not?
I don't know. I couldn't explain to you why. Perhaps I can't put it into words, but for me it's something to do with being left open and in the most vulnerable state.
Mm-hmm.
And that would just be a little bit too much of myself to give to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't hypnotise me, so you probably wouldn't be, you know, even if you were to try it.
Who was they? They make it sound like a busload of them descended suddenly and said, there she is! Let's hypnotise her.
I went for some hypnotherapy.
Okay.
And I had a few sessions.
Yeah.
But I never kind of went under, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
And I used to lie there, you know, when they do that whole thing, sort of at the end, where they count you back down again to then open your eyes.
Stand up.
I just used to just listen to the cat, and then yes.
Okay, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever meditated?
No. But I've got quite a you know, sort of busy, fleeting mind, and I'm not very good at just kind of relaxing and
settling to one thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I don't sleep very well. It's the same thing, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps I ought to try meditation to help me sleep.
There are so many different types.
Are there?
Joe, have you ever been hypnotised or meditated or
I had one of those stop
sacrificed a goat?
tapes. I have sacrificed. No, I haven't. I've killed a rabbit one time, though.
Did you? What happened?
I had myxomatosis, and we were out on a geology field trip, and all my friends
You put it out of his
look,
misery.
a sick rabbit, and I went, turn around.
How did you do it? You picked it up?
With a stone.
You bashed its head in?
Yeah.
That's a kind thing to do.
It was quick and a bit messy.
Yes.
It's a bit mean, but it was actually in an awful lot of pain. So before everyone thinks I'm a total
Okay, but you wouldn't sacrifice a
murdering
goat,
rabbit
obviously.
murderer.
That was just me being lightening the moment.
Precisely.
Have you ever meditated?
No, but I've tried one of those stop smoking hypnotist tapes.
Okay,
and
and
it probably would have worked, but the guy's voice, he had a very strange accent.
And you
so-
notice it?
Yeah, and it just picked up.
Yes.
It's time for you to stop smoking.
Smoking.
And they just set me off
Yeah.
in giggles, so... it
Well, they
didn't
all
really work.
they all attenuate their voices slightly, don't they? They're a bit like some disc jockeys. They all attenuate their voice. Les Ross. I mean, he does, doesn't he? He attenuates his voice slightly. Do you have an attenuated disc jockey voice, Matt?
Yeah, before I got into commercial radio... I mean,
Let's hear it.
Well, no, I don't know if I can do it anymore. The first boss ever had told me I'd never be a DJ, and the second guy said, you will, but you need to change your voice.
So what do you do?
I'm trying to remember. I used to kind of take a deep breath and sort of sink slightly into it, because the demograph for the audience that we were presenting to was of an ABC1 orientation, so therefore middle-aged, single housewife,
pilots,
2 kids,
doctors.
So I kind of used to go, hi, this is 107.1 Rugby FM, it's Matt with you until 2 o'clock this afternoon. And that was kind of it. Although that's a really bad way of...
I know.
I used to be a lot better. What happened?
Listening live in Germany this evening, says Gary, a fantastic roller coaster of a show this evening. Laughter and tears, and both handled with great sensitivity. I have a suggestion for next week's show format. Could we make 11 p.m. till midnight every Tuesday, lesbian hour? There could be audio clips, recipes, erotic literature, studio guests, and so on.
Every Tuesday.
Oh, and the studio guests could wear different official uniforms. I hope this helps. Do you know, about a year ago, I had the worst and the best haircut I've ever had, which we'll get to right after this 11:40 break.
Play Radio UK have teamed up with Virgin Wines to offer you a massive 20% discount off your favourite wines. Visit playradiouk.com and click on the Virgin Wines 20% discount voucher to start saving now and have your favourite wines delivered to your door. Play Radio UK and Virgin Wines, for people who love their wine and a great deal. Just log on to playradiouk.com and click on the Virgin Wine 20% discount voucher and start saving today.
Missed anything?
Hello, this is Chris Tarrant.
Hello there, this is Sean Williamson.
James Whale.
If you speak to me like that again, I'll put you over my knee and spank you.
Not the Tommy Boyd Show.
Have you ever been contacted by the Biavians?
No, I've had a few close brushes with Uranus. Hello, this is Chris Tarrant. If you're hearing this now, you've missed me on Hertz's Half Hour. But don't worry, you can listen again at playradiouk.com/podcast.
playradiouk.com/podcast.
Missed anything? Then go to playradiouk.com/podcast. Tommy Boyd on Play 2 UK, a super song of sanctity in a weird and wacky world.
Yes, I had half an hour, so I dropped into a lady's hairdresser. Well, it was a hairdresser and a lady's in it. And she was about 35, and she was very fit and sort of, you know, Amazonian. Very pretty. And within 2 minutes of starting to cut my hair, it came out that she was a lesbian. And there was just the two of us in this hairdresser's. And I was completely besotted with finding it. And she was very open. And she was cutting my hair, and she was saying things like, yeah, because sometimes I get home and I say to my girlfriend, you know, I'm just gagging for it. So I say to her, you know, should we go straight to bed? And sometimes she says, oh, I don't fancy it really, so I have to go into the bedroom. I sometimes have a shower and just look after myself. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got quite a lot of vibrators now, one in every room, and
on the mantelpiece.
I was so fascinated by it.
Yeah, I want a hairdresser.
She gave
like
me the
that.
worst haircut I've ever had, but I still tipped her.
Yeah.
For the stories. And then, right, because I was going to meet some people in a hotel for a meeting about 50 yards up, and I was so tempted to bring her along because I knew that these blokes I was meeting would just all go, really? And so then what do you do? Like, is there ever 3 of you? Because we're fascinated by it.
Yes.
You know, gay sex for men leaves me nervous. I'm honest, if I'm honest. But
Gay sex between men?
Between men,
Right.
yeah. I
That is odd.
I don't have judgments about it. I just think that the male tackle is horrible looking, and I don't think there should be one of them in a room at any one time, never mind about 2. You know, that's my view. Or more, you know, if you know some of those clubs. But anyway, so lesbianism fascinating. So I quite like Gary's suggestion. Maybe we should make next Tuesday lesbian evening. Do you think we can get that hairdresser here?
You tell me, give me the details.
If you wanted to,
Yes.
I could get you the organiser of Miss Gay UK, who is also herself a lesbian. Not into the studio, but on the phone.
Yeah, I would have I would have put money on that, but yep, good. Okay, well,
you would have put money on that?
On the leader of Miss Gay
UK
Britain
being a lesbian.
I would,
no,
yeah.
not necessarily. It's a business venture as well, so...
Is it? Well, you don't know. Okay, well, I'm for it. Yes? Hands up, those in favour. Carried.
You'd like me to get her on...
No, I'd like to do next Tuesday as being a lesbian special from 11
Yes,
till...
but would you like her to be...
Let's finalise the details over some magazines.
In different cubicles.
Yeah. All you have to do is make sure you end the sentence in a slightly unexpected way. That's comedy. I've given you the whole secret now. Fucking hell. Off you'll go, scurriers. You'll be at Caesar's Palace next, Joe, you will. They'll be introducing you, they expect a full 45-minute set. You know, and all you'll be doing is just finishing the sentence unexpectedly. That's all it is. That's all any jokes are. Unexpected end to the sentence. Did you know that?
I think we discovered that earlier, didn't we?
When?
Early this evening with your joke book.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, that's all in performance. Because that is a part of it. Where was we? We was going to... Somebody has sent us in a piece of audio.
Paul DL.
Paul, thank you. And what have we got?
It's Alan Brazil.
Oh, excellent. Do we have any setup for it, or do we just play it?
No setup, just... He's not set up, so...
Okay, now I can tell you, most of us were watching the football last night, of course. I was hopping channels, but there was more to television last night than just football. Let's say a very good morning to top telly cricket, critic even, from the People. Gary Bushell. Gary, good morning. What did we see last night, mate?
Morning, Gary.
Hello, I'm still here.
Oh, hi, Gary. We're here as
mate,
well.
Yeah. I feel a bit of a fraud today.
Why?
Because I wasn't watching any TV last night. I was at the filming of the BAFTA tribute for Bob Monkhouse over at the BBC.
Is that right? But that was a bit of fun.
Oh, well, there were some really nice contributions from a lot of good people, including some of the best of the younger comics around now. You like Jack Dee, Jimmy Carr, Steve Coogan.
Yeah.
And the clips were absolutely sensational. They got all his greatest one-liners, his acting roles, nostalgia by the bucket. I mean, you forget he was in things like Carry On Sergeant, and as well as...
Well, many people, Gary, forget that he's one of the greatest stand-up comics you've ever seen. I saw him years ago when I was still a reporter in Chester, and at the time we only knew him as the host of The Golden Shot or whatever, you know?
I tell you what, he's got a great, you know, if he has to, he can do a blue version as well, which is meant to be fantastic.
Oh yes. In fact, you can get those on video still, on DVD probably now. This show goes out the weekend after next on BBC One. You're absolutely right. You're left with no doubt that Monkhouse was a giant.
Yeah, sure. Oh no, absolutely.
Gary, what about Bob's health now?
He died at Christmas.
I think Mr. Brazil was just looking a little bit back there rather than forward. You're absolutely right. That's
I heard two different versions of it, to be honest.
The terrible thing
two different versions, I was told.
They did this tribute for him when he was still alive.
Yeah, well,
that is the tragedy of it, because...
absolutely. He was regarded in the industry, as you quite rightly say, by his peers as the man to follow, yeah?
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
And Gary, it was...
missing from TV now, of course, is a great comedy.
And Gary, it was cancer, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I had two different versions and one that, you know. But I must admit, I've met him a couple of times. I think it was the Enfield Rooms.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic, he was. I tell you what, real nice man as well.
Wow.
Yep, I'd heard about that one. I've never heard it. Who sent that in?
The Paul DL.
Can we start archiving this? Is there some way we
saving them all?
I know. It's a job of work. I'm just wondering what's the best way of doing it. Shall I get them off the internet and put them on a memory stick and give them to you to hotkey? Because how can we archive them? Because what I'm thinking
we can archive them. Yeah.
So I could hear that again, like next week or in a couple of weeks. Just like you can hear Brown Sugar by the Stones. You can hear it. You don't want to hear it every day. But, you can hear it every so often, can't you? And it's the same with these clips. We could build up a real library.
Cut out the rubbish, make the clip slightly shorter so you get the bit that you want without all the pomp and circumstance.
I could listen to that one all again next time I heard it and the time after that. But then maybe it's like with TV ads, don't you? They show you a 45-second ad, right, and they show you that about 6 times, so you know it. And then they show you a 10-second version of it for the next 6 months, and you think you've seen the whole thing. Well, I do.
Oh, I feel cheated when they do that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like adverts anymore now, but
no.
I used to get annoyed. I think they were cutting
if you wanted the whole
money.
thing.
Yeah. I remember when I used to actually sit and watch the telly hoping that the next advert in a sequence of adverts would come along. You remember the Budweiser ones with the frogs and stuff like that? I used to sit there and think, I can't wait for the next Budweiser ad.
Yes.
That's sad, isn't it?
Yes. You don't get the same sort of... No. Well, the thing is this, you don't get the same kind of value, entertainment value, in most radio commercials.
No.
Do you? There aren't many radio commercials that you hope are going to come on in a minute.
No.
It's a shame, though, isn't it?
Hello, darling, I'm home. Hello, did you have time to find out about the car insurance? Yes, I went to those lovely people at... It drives you nuts, doesn't it?
I'mConfused.com.
Yeah, there's him.
I wrote and complained about those, the shouty ones. I actually got so annoyed about them.
To whom did you write?
I wrote to their website.
Their
There's
website?
a comments website, which, I mean, I know it worked because I then went on their website, but I said, like, could you please stop the shouty adverts? Drive me crazy. I actually switch off now.
And did you get a nice reply back saying we're terribly sorry? Nothing.
But then suddenly, they went quieter now. Now it's confused.com.
That was you.
Yeah. It could have been just me. I think that
Joe
quite a lot of
Whitehouse.
people probably complained about it.
Have you ever complained about anything, Matt?
Have I ever complained about anything? Yes, but nothing of note. Maybe my chips were cold at McDonald's or something like that. I've never actually sat down and written in and complained. No,
have you,
never.
Fiona, ever?
Not for something like this, no. Not for a commercial or something like that, no. I've complained about products and things before.
Yes.
And got quite a bit of money back in the past. and
Have
stuff.
you really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a show. There's a show there.
Yeah.
There's a show there, definitely, how to get money from entering NAF competitions.
Yeah.
And how to complain and say that there was a fly in your yoghurt.
Yeah.
And get money.
You can ring the McDonald's. There's a McDonald's line or a part on the website. I've got friends who do it, but I'm not a big fan of McDonald's, so I won't. But you can literally ring and say, I brought a takeaway order of such and such for my child's birthday. They got 4 items wrong, etc. And they just give you 25 quid's worth of vouchers.
Yes, I'm sure it. You know, it's like these people who go to prison for claiming that they are 27 students, all of whom need a student grant loan, and they get it. It's £1,400 a term.
I was going to say, there's one advert that particularly tickles me at the moment whenever I hear it. The slogan is "Lick the lid of life."
Yes, what is that for?
Muller?
Yeah.
Muller Light. I phoned the BBC up once because I was bored and I was watching a late-night cookery programme in which a man was telling you how to kill lobsters. He said, well, it's far better if you get a live lobster. Of course, the supermarket will kill it, dispatch it for you. But the fresher the lobster, the better. What you take it down is, and you don't stick it in the boiling water, etc. You get a carving knife and you run the carving knife the length of its spine, right into the cranium of it, and this kills the lobster almost immediately. And he cut this lobster in half, and it's still going. And I didn't think the BBC should be telling people how to slaughter animals.
No.
You know, because where is it going to end? In people buying a live sheep and bringing it home and slitting its throat and hanging it up halal style in the sitting room with a dish underneath its throat?
Well, it's kind of what Gordon Ramsay does now, isn't it?
It's
on
kind
TV?
of what, yes.
I mean, it's fresh meat, so you have to rear the animal, look after the animal, and kill it correctly and as humanely as you possibly can, and then eat it.
All right, here's the plan. So then, do-it-yourself slaughter, and this is next Tuesday. Do-it-yourself slaughter. All right. Open access. And lesbian hour. Hands up. Who's looking forward to the third bit most?
It'll be a double ender, won't it?
Oh.
Yeah.